Insert quirky intro bit here. Hello, I'm Jenna, and today you're watching another WWM Productions video, and as you can probably guess from the title, I'm talking about some of my anticipated 2021 latter half of the year releases, because as we all know, the world is, well, not getting back to normal. I don't think it's ever been normal, but things seem to be reopening more and release schedules are actually becoming a thing and not just a random scatter plot of points on a map that make you sad to look at. And because we are more than halfway through the year, when did that happen? I decided I would take a look at some of these movies that are probably going to get released at some point and get a little excited about going back to the movie theater, possibly, and just seeing these anticipated releases that have kind of just been stuck in the void for who knows how long. This is by no means supposed to be a comprehensive list of every movie that's coming out in the latter half of the year, and it's just some movies that I saw that I noticed that been keeping in the back of my mind that, hey, these look pretty exciting and I kind of can't wait to watch them. So this is just like a personal little list that I thought would be fun to do, and I also had no idea what I was going to make this week, so I'm doing this! Yeehaw! Another little note, I'm not putting the release dates for any of these movies because one, I'm lazy, but two, this is the actual reason, but because things are still moving around a lot with release dates and everything, so I don't want to put a date in here and then it change again because life is just a volatile ball of fun right now. So the movie's going to exist and release at some point, but when, I'm not taking for granted a date right now. Let's get into it, shall we? So, I figured I would start with the obligatory MCU section because I am a simple moviegoer. I have simple tastes. I enjoy a good MCU flick, so we're getting 4 this year right now as I'm recording it, so I'm excited for all of them because it's been a while since I've seen an MCU movie, and it's gonna be pretty fantastic. As I'm recording this, Black Widow came out on Friday, but since I haven't seen it yet, I figured I would just include it in this video anyway because it's recent enough that it hasn't hit my head that it's actually out yet. And I mean, I'm excited. I think Black Widow is pretty cool, and I mean, spies and everything. Just, I don't know if it'll be my favorite MCU movie, but I'm pretty excited. I've been waiting for this movie to come out for a while, like the rest of us, because wow, I'm surprised this movie still isn't sitting in a void somewhere. And the next MCU movie that's coming out this year is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I think that's the full title. I don't know, I didn't write the full title down, so we're gonna go with that. Maybe it's not. But I'm really excited for it because the trailers that have been released look super cool and look really different from anything else we've really seen in the MCU so far. So I'm just really excited to see everything that they do, and I'm excited for Phase 4 because I'm hoping that Marvel doesn't rush into like the next big thing, because it took 10 years for the Infinity Saga to develop and form into what we know it is today, and I'm glad that they're also not trying to rely too much on things that we already have and enjoy, and instead are mixing in some new things that also just look very different and unique. I'm really glad that that seems to be partly the direction that they're going in, so I'm just really excited for this movie. It's probably the MCU movie I'm looking the most forward to at the moment. And then The Eternals comes out later in the year. Well, later in the year. And I have no idea what this movie is about, but it's Marvel, so I guess I have to be excited about it. And then Spider-Man No Way Home. But Spider-Man No Way Home comes out in December, and no one knows anything about this movie, so why do you expect me to know anything about this movie? But I know it's a Spider-Man movie, and considering the direction that Marvel may or may not be going in for their next trick could be interesting. So the obligatory MCU section of this video is over. I've talked about this movie before on the channel, but it is the movie adaptation of Dune that has, again, just been pushed back all the time because, no movies are being released, and I still have not read Dune by Frank Herbert. I think that's his name. Will I? I don't know. Every time I think about it, I just think of the one book cover with the giant worm on it, and I lose motivation too. This movie looks really cool. People who know more about Dune than I do seem really excited for it, and I'm just really interested to see kind of the next big hyped up book adaptation, just to see how it is. And it looks like it has a really great cast. It seems like something I would be interested in, just a sci-fi adventure with lots of different mysterious things going on. And I don't know, the trailers just have been really interesting to me. Do I know what's happening in them? No. Am I interested to know what is happening? Yes. So, again, not much I can necessarily say about that one, but I just think it looks super duper cool and really interesting, and from what I can tell from the shots of the trailer, it looks like it'll be a really good movie. Again, I have no idea. Trailers can kind of be sus like that. But I don't know, I'm excited about it. Lots of other people are excited about it, and this seems like a movie that lots of people are going to be talking about one way or the other, even if it's good or bad. So I'm just interested to see how this movie actually plays out. Another movie that looks really interesting is Last Night in Soho, and I have not seen a movie by this director, and if I have, I had no idea. And people have been excited because they were waiting for this director's next film, and I just was like, oh, Anya Taylor-Joy is in the trailer, and people are talking about it. Cool, I'll watch the trailer. And it looks really interesting, and I don't know if it's necessarily a movie that, I necessarily always gravitate towards. It seems to be a little bit on the horror or just creepy spectrum of things, but still, I'm so interested. It looked so mysterious and gripping while I was watching the trailer, and I want to know and get to the bottom of this movie. And it just looked so different from a lot of the other things I've been hearing about that are coming out this year. And I'm just super intrigued to see what happens. And it just looks like it'll be a really interesting movie. The idea that I kind of gathered from the trailer, which maybe it'll be different when I actually see the movie, but the idea that I kind of gathered from the trailer of the past isn't quite what it seems, and trying to figure out the truth, and do we always want that truth? It seems like it would be really intriguing, along with the idea that this character, however they go back in time, probably while they're dreaming, I think that's what it was, while they kind of go back in time, and they also become this other person, so even though they are themselves, they're also Anya Taylor-Joy. Which, I mean, that could be a dream to some people just in and of itself, I suppose, although this trailer also looks to be that's a little bit of a nightmare, which I'm just super intrigued by the whole idea that they've kind of proposed through the trailer. And again, I, off the top of my head, haven't seen anything that Edgar Wright has directed, but I'm also really excited for this one, so maybe I should get on that someday. And probably the movie that I've been waiting by far the longest for, and the one that I'm most anticipating, is The French Dispatch. It's directed by Wes Anderson, and I have not seen all of his movies yet, because you just gotta savor them and just enjoy them while they come and not just binge all of them at once, because they definitely take some thinking. But he's definitely become one of my favorite directors, and I've loved all of the movies I have seen by him so far. But this one, I'm so excited for it, and I remember seeing the trailer for this back in February 2020 and being like, oh man, this is gonna be so great. It looks so much like his style, but just turned all the way up to the max, and I am so here for it. And Journalism 2 is just really great, and it has a soft spot in my heart, and this definitely looks like a great movie for journalism, if that makes any sense. But even seeing all of these different stories play out and just bring them all together, and seeing all of the different ways that his directing style comes through in the trailer just in and of itself, it just makes me very happy. And I'm just so excited. I love movies with a bunch of different characters and interweaving storylines, and I just think this movie is going to scratch like my movie itch, and I'm just very excited to see just the absurdity, but how well it all plays out, because again, that's just Wes Anderson movies. They're absurd, but also so emotional and just poignant that you can't help but love them, and I'm just very, very excited for this movie because it definitely seems to follow suit with some of his other films, and that just very exciting. Oh no, wait, I stopped going in order. Which ones have I done? This has been a movie that a lot of people have been excited for, and I am excited because I've seen the teaser and it looks pretty cool. It's the West Side Story remake, and I have not seen the original West Side Story. I am aware that that makes me a sad movie watcher, but I have seen a theatrical production of it a few years, like a long time ago actually, that was done in my town. Not by my town because hurricanes, I guess. Don't worry about it. It was interesting, but I really did enjoy it, and I know the gist of the story. I should totally watch the movie at some point. Maybe I have until December, guys. Don't worry about it. But I'm excited for it because Steven Spielberg makes pretty good movies, so it's probably going to be good. The trailer, just the little snippet they gave us, seems really cool and kind of holds all of like the tension but also wonder and love that the original kind of has, as far as I know about it, and it looks like it's going to be really cool, and like all of the different shots are really great, and just it has a lot of potential, and I'm really hoping that it's good because a lot of people have been anxiously awaiting this movie, and while I don't have many horses in the race for this one, I just hope it's good because people really want it to be good, and I hope it's good. I don't want a movie to be bad most of the time. I'm not that petty, but I hope it's good. To just round out this list, it is The Green Knight, and it's the movie that I kind of know the least about, unless you're Dune, but that's a different kind of know the least about, because it's the one that I kind of heard about most recently. It's an A24 film, so it's probably going to be a little strange, at the least, or, you know, a lot strange. There's no normal when it comes to A24. It's always at least a little strange, and I really like knights in medieval history, and I think you can tell some really interesting stories with this, and the Green Knight seems to not be an exception from that. It looks really interesting. Again, do I know really what this movie is about? No. Can I kind of tell what this movie is about? Yes, it's about Sir Gawain. I'm not pronouncing that right. He has to kind of travel to do this duel in like a year's time, and he's a knight of the Round Table under King Arthur, I believe, one of the kings, and it's based off of Arthurian legend, which is always really interesting, and I love to see what people do with it nowadays. And again, just the way this movie looks, it looks like it'll be really, really interesting. I love kind of epic fantasies and quests that really feel like a huge trek, and I'm excited for it, and who knows if it's good. I kind of just heard about it randomly, and I don't know, I'm intrigued by it. Knights are cool, and more knight things, please. That's my small little list of movies that are releasing in the second half of 2021. There are, of course, tons of other movies that I'm interested in, but these are kind of the top of the list, and I'm wondering, what movies are you all excited for? Because I know there are some movies that are coming out that are probably looking really cool that I just didn't find on the internet. Tell me in the comments. Leave a comment if you are also excited about some of these movies. I'd be interested to see what you guys are looking for, because maybe I would make a video about it if you all are interested in it. So like, let me know, like, talk to me, and I'll give you what you want, because this is a democracy. Vote. Well, not vote, but like, tell me what you want, and I'll probably do it if people want me to. I'm not a pushover, I promise. Well, with that, I'm going to conclude this video. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you're still watching it. And again, just leave a like, comment, subscribe. On this channel, we have a weekly podcast where me and my channel partner Ava, we watch a recent release that's typically off of Netflix, because, you know, that's just how we do things, but maybe not forever, because, like, movie theaters are opening again. Yeehaw! And if you're interested in hearing people talk about recent releases so you can get some thoughts, or you've seen it and you just like movies, you should check out our podcast. It's called We Watch Movies because we were super original, and you can find it pretty much anywhere you get podcasts. I mean, it's on our YouTube channel, obviously, but if you don't like to listen to podcasts on YouTube, which I understand, you can find it on Spotify and just about everywhere else that isn't Spotify. I'll put that in the description. And beyond that, we release videos just about every week unless something comes up, unfortunately, but it goes back and forth between me and Ava, and we both have different interests. Her videos are generally better edited than mine, but where else can you get chaos like this? I mean, seriously. And she is also doing a little vlogging exercise where she is going to release a vlog daily until she finishes the pilot episode of her big idea. And other than that, we just have some cool stuff in the works, so you should stick around. Totally. So with that, I will leave you to the rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye! I consider this movie Spider-Man hopeless. You can't prove otherwise to me.